Hello, hello. Let those notifications go out. All right, everybody. Yes, here we are. Let's just chat. That's it. Let's just chat. Listen, I don't know how long this one is going to be. We talk about this here and there, and I believe we've done a video about how chosen ones are problem solvers before, but God said to bring it back. Let's talk some more about this because it's so true. It's just becoming more evident the clearer things become in God's reality in the spiritual awakening, the further along we get, and the more we run into these little, well, you could call them little road bumps, if you will, along the way where, oh, hold on a second, okay, things that we find off balance. For example, there was one hotel I stayed at where the microwave wouldn't, yeah, it was off balance. And I've learned that things that aren't imbalanced tend to make excess noise. So, what do I do? Well, I happen to have some index cards. We are in business trip season, right? So, I'm going to have index cards with me. And so I said, okay, let's try that. And so I folded up one to start with. Okay, well, that started to do the trick. I said, it's going to need another one. All right, so two, and there we go. Level it back out, all good to go. Okay, no more wobbly for the microwave. And so that's just one small example of how chosen ones are just problem solvers. We don't even have to say nothing to nobody. We don't have to like go and be reporting stuff like that. We just be like, you know what, if we got something on hand, and how I teach all the time, I teach y'all to take a look at what you have first before you go running out there buying something. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have something like that. Index card that can fix a microwave that's out of balance. Or a refrigerator even. It works. The small one in the hotels. It works on that too. It balances them back out. So we check things like that, because we know that things that are out of balance will tend to make extra noise. So while those notifications go out, let me do our usual check over here. And I know. The Lord had me revisit some older videos because there was something about our weight training and our new lifestyle, if you will, for healthier living. Combating radio frequencies for healthier living. Part of our new lifestyle is adopting the blood type diet lifestyle. Yes, very much so. But we don't have to be gluten and lactose free. We found out that those symptoms are radio frequency symptoms. And so now we can do that. And so God had me revisit some older videos on TikTok, because I was looking at one person who actually saved it to their favorites, and I said, okay. And it's been a while. It's one where I actually did the intro and a thumbnail and everything, just like I do for the videos on this channel. And then I learned that TikTok, well, it doesn't mind those types of videos, but it likes the vertical ones. It is what it is, like real type, REEL. Anyway, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA's Let's Just Chat show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequencies for healthier living. So let's go ahead and do a real quick chat. There we go. And I've got the chat. Y'all got questions or anything like that? I gave a little example in the very beginning there as to how chosen ones are problem solvers. It's a small example, but hey, like the smallest detail tell the biggest story when you're paying attention to the patterns that tell another story. But within those patterns are small details that can tell the biggest story. So, that being said, let's dive into some more ways that chosen ones are problem solvers. How many times you find yourself in the workplace and narcissists, oh, they love to cause those little problems, huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and y'all, we see it whenever they break something just to turn around and fix it, playing hero. Yeah, we've seen them do that. Okay? That wasn't solving a problem. No, that was to stroke their own ego. But chosen ones, when we identify an issue that needs attention and that needs to be solved, well, we will come up with a viable solution. A lot of times the narcissist will give us a million excuses why that won't work, only to turn around later. We've seen this happen, only to turn around later and end up having to use the suggestion that we gave them. Like they ran out of other options. And it works. Go figure. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Chosen one are problem solvers. And without chosen one, can you imagine? Think about, well, any workplace really, okay? But if it's got narcissist in it, it's going to be a toxic workplace. Oh yeah. Yeah, hands down, seriously. If you have narcissists in a workplace, it is a toxic workplace. Because narcissists are toxic. And they are lazy. And they will cause problems. Why do you think after we get away from narcissists, oh yeah, they leave that trail of destruction, and we have to do what's called a cleanup? For example, the ex-psycho roommate, I had to replace a lot of devices that he tampered with. Yeah. Okay. And so I had to clean that up. And then with the Jezebel case study, basically I just had to figure out what else was going on with this body other than sodium. Because I knew, I said, this ain't right. I said, there's a lot of stuff that ain't making sense here. I know this body. And glory be to God, so does he. All right, he made it. All right, so anyhow, once we figured out all that we needed to for that to get back on track with endurance training and what have you for healthier living, it's just we have to sort through all of that stuff. But that's because narcissists do that. They cause issues. They cause problems. See, we are problem solvers. So when you think about the toxic workplace, how many times you find yourself having to, them dumping their workload onto others, that's classic. But I'm talking about them causing a problem, and then you trying to offer a solution, and they give you, again, those excuses why it won't work, and then you go back in later. It's happened to me. I said, how about that? There was a drain, right, that was splashing out a bunch of water in the kitchen. And I said, well, how about you get some kind of a shield, like a bucket, and cut the bottom out and just put it under there for now. That'll keep the water from splashing out until you can find a more permanent solution. Because I knew that was just a Band-Aid. I mean, unless they want to keep it like that, I mean, whatever. But the narcissist manager gave me a few reasons why that wouldn't work. Okay. A couple days later, I went in, and there's a red bucket with the hole cut out up under there. That wouldn't work, huh? Okay. It seemed to be working just fine. So that's what happened. And I think the narcissists do that because they get upset or mad because they're the one that did not come up with that solution, because they're not problem solvers. See, to be a problem solver, you have to be a self-thinker. Understand that. You have got to be able to have your own self-thinking ability in order to solve problems. You have to have control of your mind to solve problems. You have to have control of your own mind to be able to solve problems, because you're going to have to think it through. You're going to have to think about, okay, what do I have on hand that can work to fix this? Got to get around that resistance. Because this matrix out here, y'all, it is rigged. And I mean rigged for all kinds of stuff. That's why we got to pay attention. Like I said, we got that heightened awareness. Pay attention to what's around you, how things are set up. Is that bedpost sticking out just enough to where if you didn't know, right? Stuff like that. But at the same time, if we run into something that could use an index card for balancing, stuff like that. And so we don't have, right, we don't start running our mouth. See, I know a narcissist, if they were to come across something like that, first thing they would do is turn around and complain about it. Exactly. the narcissist will turn around and complain about the microwave being off balance. Okay, then, well, figure out how to remedy that. But no, instead, they'd rather complain about it. And then when it starts, when you turn it on and it groans louder than it should because it's off balance, oh, now they get to complain about that too. Real simple. Find a piece of cardboard, index card, something, several pieces of paper, fold it up, put it up under there. But no, see, narcissists got to have them problems. That's something else we learned about the Matrix, is that it needs problems. Because they got to have them to complain about. And then also to trick people into complaining about them. That demon of complaining. Because if you're complaining what? Oh, right. You're not being thankful. You're not showing any kind of gratitude. Every single time you hear someone complaining, that is a lack of gratitude. And God is very clear in the Bible about us giving thanks daily. Be thankful. Be grateful for what you have. And so I'm going to tell y'all, chosen one, I am grateful. I am thankful that we have problem-solving skills. That's right. Chosen one got some skills now. Chosen one are problem solvers. And that baffles narcissists though too, because when you solve a problem, it takes fun for their demon spirit away. It takes away entertainment for them. You know, it's kind of weird when you think about it, that these problems out here are entertainment for the narcissist, toddlers in adult bodies. And so they got to have those problems for their own entertainment. It's like, okay. But see, chosen ones were like, no, a problem is not entertaining to start with. A problem needs to be solved. And God is a problem solver. So naturally, his chosen ones are going to be too. So we think outside the box. In order to do that, you got to have your own self-thinking ability. You got to have control of your own mind. You can't think outside the box if you don't have control of your mind. Remember, this is a narcissistic matrix out here that's all about mind control. And that's what's happened to these narcissists, is that they are under the, well, it's radio frequency mind controlling them, but also demonic possession. They don't know anything else outside of the worldview blinders. Okay, and they don't want to know. They'll tell you that too. There's a lot of them, especially as they age. They don't want to know. And they like their problems because it gives them more excuses to complain. And then they also like to cause problems to watch others chase their tail as a form of entertainment for them. Oh, they do. But chosen one, when we catch on to that, anytime you sense that somebody's trying to do that, trying to trick you and chasing your tail, you just, wait a minute, hold on a second. And you start thinking outside the box. Yeah. And I've shared this story before. I got a good example of this one. Oh, yeah. It was in the last toxic workplace I was at. And the Jezebel from upstairs gave me an assignment. And for that assignment, I had to do some research. Well, actually, so did the immediate supervisor. They all gave me an assignment, a product that I needed to come up with a decent description, but the information I was finding for that particular plant, it was very scarce. I mean, there was not a whole lot that was popping up. So I said to myself, okay, this is interesting. And I mean, I kept looking for several days. I was chasing my tail. And then finally, I said, hold on a second. I said, I am done chasing my tail. And I found an organization that specializes in that plant. And I sent them an email. And they were able to send me the information I needed to be able to put together a decent description for that plant. But when I shouted out, not really shouted, but I was like loud, I was like, okay, that's it. I said, I'm done chasing my tail. I heard the Jezebel up there laughing. I said, oh, okay. That's exactly what the narcissist like is, to watch you chase your tail. And so I knew immediately. I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. But we solved that problem and got the task completed at the same time. See, that's chosen ones for you, because we can self-think and outside the box. And we're like, hold up a second. So instead of looking for the information about that plant, itself, I decided to look for, because I know I'm like, there's organizations out here that specialize in different things. So that's what I changed my search tactic, thinking outside the box. And voila, we were able to get somewhere and solve that and get it done. That's the other thing about chosen ones. See, when we're problem solvers, we get stuff done. Because if you've got a bunch of problems that haven't been solved just sitting around, how you going to get anything done? Because all of them are going to serve as a distraction at some point. That's another reason why the narcissists love to cause those problems, because they serve as a distraction. But see, chosen ones were like, hey, hold on a minute. We got to keep it moving. How do we keep it moving? We got to solve that problem. And so once we do that, it's like, okay, that's taken care of. Oh, that refrigerator's a little bit out of balance. All right, cool. Let me get some index cards. Boom. And moving on. Fix it. Moving on. That way that's not lingering. And so every time I would open the fridge, right, and then when the fan would run, it'll run louder than it should because it's off balance. Knowing all of this, we'll go ahead and take care of it. It's, I think there's a saying called nip it in the bud. Right there. Okay? And we take care of it. That's how chosen ones operate. And we get it done and move on. That way we're not sitting there chasing our tail and being distracted from the things that God needs us to do. God always has us working on stuff, even when we're resting. Glory be to God. Always, even when we are resting, God has us working on things. That mental prep we talked about a little bit ago. Yeah, I want y'all to drop that in the comments again, even on the replay, because that's a big part of problem solving, mental prep. Drop it in the comments below. Mental prep. Because we're always doing that, even while coming up with a solution to solve a problem. So I want to dive into a little bit of the and more now. Okay, a little bit of and more. Because it dovetails off of solving a problem so that you can keep it moving. And so when we keep it moving, all right, we're not dwelling on that issue anymore. It's done. It's solved. It's yay, out of the way. Now, next task at hand. Okay? Whatever it is that God put on our plate. I want to remind y'all, when you have a to-do list here, okay, and you've got, just pick one. Okay, let's say you have 3 things that you want to get done. Pick one and make it the top priority. Once you get it done, anything after that is a bonus. Somebody needs that reminder, okay? Don't stress yourself out. There's no reason for that. Not in God's reality. That's the other thing we learned. So here's the and more I want to talk about. Well, we keep it moving, but we realize that we don't have to rush. We ain't got to rush nothing. And that is beautiful because we have more time to think it through. You see, if we're being forced to have to rush to get something done, we're going to miss a few things. We're probably going to leave out some details. We're going to miss a few steps. We might even mess it up because that's the devil's trick, trying to get you to rush through something to get ahead of God. We can't be doing that. So we learn, don't be trying to get ahead of God. Take your time. That's the other thing. We did a message where we talked about how if it starts to feel as though you're falling behind, you need to remember you're not falling behind. You're just taking your time. Okay? Never forget that. You are not falling behind. You're just taking your time. I had to be reminded of that a couple days ago because it just felt like, yeah, my to-do list was just one stacking on top of the other. And God said, hey. He said, you ain't falling behind. He said, you're taking your time, which is what you're supposed to do. I said, that's true. Hold on a minute. because we're not falling behind. We are on schedule. We just might be like, okay, some content for one platform, I might have a little bit more because there's some extra things that happen. And I had to think about that. Like, hold on a minute. That's right. Because I was in the car and we dropped that on this YouTube channel about where the spiritual meets the physical. And that was a spontaneous. I did not even have that on the list. Okay, so there's been a couple of things. I did one for Patreon also the same way. Was not even on the list. And so that's what tricked me into thinking I might be falling behind, because I'm like, well, I got this extra content or something here. And that's why I was like, no, you're not falling behind. You're just taking your time, because God had us do a couple of spontaneous videos like that. And I tell you, that's God's way of switching things up. And I don't mind it, but I just have to remember that. And so when God does that, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, he's like, you ain't falling behind. He said, you taking your time like you're supposed to. Because when you try to rush through and get stuff done, it typically isn't going to get done right. And we're going to mess something up. So that's why we learn to slow down and let God guide our steps. Okay? You know, how we're told in Psalm 91 how God sends his angels out to make, watch over us. And how we talk about how God's always out there making a way. Well, let's let him do that. Take the limitations off God. Remember, this world, okay, this matrix out here, it is full of limitations. It wants you to put limitations on God. And then in turn, that limits you to what you think you can do. Because you can do anything you put your mind to. Jesus tells us all you got to do is believe. And how you going to do that? With limitation. Yeah, so don't listen to that narcissistic matrix out here, the fallen Babylonian world, trying to tell you who you're supposed to be. No. Listen to God. God knows who you're supposed to be. And that's what's happening in the spiritual awakening as we go through the transformation by the renewing of our mind. That's right. Purging the subconscious of all this old worldly garbage, and old beliefs. The old version of us is gone. Okay? We are being created a new creature. And this is all part of it. Discovering our skills given to us by God. Being a problem solver. Like God is a problem solver. And how God is a God of balance. We're like, okay, we're going to balance this out. And that's also biologically too. And so we figure out how to do that with God. And then, of course, he brings his chosen ones together in this growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA, so that we're iron sharpening iron. And I want to thank y'all, especially those of you who, all of you for your continued support. And I'll do that again later, but I want to thank those of you who are participating in our movement. Oh, it's great, because I love your healthier eating tips just as much as I love sharing ours. So it works. And I've got more cooking demos for the Patreon channel coming for y'all. We have some requests. And when y'all do video requests, you can do so via email, but also on the website. For those who don't know, okay, when you go to the navigation drop-down menu, okay, at the website, cdhrwdrmd.org, when you do that, all right, and you scroll down, and you will see Real Talk videos and video requests. You click on that. There's a series of Real Talk with God Wisdom videos for sale. Okay, those are for y'all. That's right. And then also, there's the email and all that for you to send me your video request. Or if you're comfortable with a video request, in the comments below, even on the replay, I'll get it as soon as I see it. And so I will complete those video requests in the order that I received them. So remember that, okay? And you can always check out everything that we have for you all in the video description below. Seriously, video requests, I do. I take them. I appreciate them. And, we honor them because they're coming from you all. You have questions. You have additional insight even. Now, as far as appearing as a guest, You all can do that. And I know that some of y'all are just now, okay, you're just now joining us. Okay, you just finished work. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay. Okay, so they got you on a later shift this week. I kind of figured that. So I know you'll catch it on the replay. I said I didn't know how long this one was going to be because I just wanted to touch on how chosen ones are problem solvers, and then just a little bit and more as far as what it means in God's reality as we keep it moving and we don't have to rush. And a reminder about you're not falling behind, you're taking your time. So you're going to hear all of that on the replay as well. And so right now I'm just doing a quick wrap up, letting everybody know where they can find certain things in the description below, and then also on the website. Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, we continue to bring you all a lot of stuff, even on the Patreon channel. So that Patreon channel link is also in the video description below. We've been building that channel now for several years and growing. So we continue, okay, to do that. And so Chris is saying that a psych profile of the person who chose the picture for the room would be interesting. Not sure what the picture is behind you. Okay, the picture behind me is the picture that you see in yesterday's live stream. If you haven't caught that one. We did that one. I'm trying to see here. I've got the paper somewhere. Oh. Okay, I did a quick, it's faceless. Yesterday I did about why our human side is predictable and more. And so you'll get a better look at that picture when you catch that replay. Yeah, when you catch that replay, you'll get a better idea. It's bubbles, but it's the blue and the green making teal. I know those of you who have been following us, and you know how dust is the color teal and animated salt molecules, and how salts come together and they make the color teal. Okay, so we start to catch on to the prevalence of that in the matrix. So you'll enjoy that one. Yeah, I know. It is what it is. It is what it is. I actually don't mind it. That one right there, I actually was like, I kind of like it. I like the bubbles. I don't know. But anyhow, it's... I have no control over the type of decor in these rooms. You know that. Leave it to Chris. Leave it to Chris to make them comments about pictures. Okay. Oh, have mercy. Thank you for sharing. Okay, bubbles is the title. All right, yes, there you go. Okay, that works. Again, y'all, check it out. Check it out in the video description below. You will find links to the website. Check that out. You will find, you'll find the CHA, my social page. Also, that's on the website, but the direct links are our social platform where we are posting content across multiple social platforms, including Quora. And then you'll also find links to the Patreon, to CHA's Truth Seeker podcast. Yes. And coming up on episode 195 for that. Oh, I'm like, wow. And we keep it, we keep it moving. We keep it coming, keep it moving, oh my gosh, keep it going forward. And and so also for those who haven't done so, and you'd like to share how this ministry is helping you, grow, trauma, heal, and grow spiritually. How it's helping you, and you can share that with others by leaving a Google review. That link is also listed below for our Google business page, which we got some updating going on there. Okay, so I appreciate y'all patience, but that does take a little bit of time because when you submit a new update, Google has to review it, blah, 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 blah. You know how the Matrix, that control system, the illusion of control. Okay, well, that's what that's part of. So I have to wait before I upload something else. I want to wait, take my time. I don't want to, yeah, anyway, the algorithms don't like to be overwhelmed. I have figured that out. All right, y'all. So you keep it moving, and we will see you at CHA Saturday Bible Study, God willing, of course, Saturdays around 4 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on this YouTube channel. And we are beginning, okay? We are beginning, let me see, we are in the book of Revelation, and we are, okay, we are beginning chapter 11 in the next one. At the time of this recording, we're going to start with the book of Revelation, chapter 11. Okay, that's coming up next because we just finished chapter 10 last week. And that ended with talking about how John's being told to prophecy again, okay, to many peoples and nations and things like that. So that was last week, and so this coming Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time or around, okay, we're going to start with chapter 11, and we're going to dive into it together. Iron sharpens iron in the growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ here at Consulting for Heightened Awareness, CHA. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your continued support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father. And you keep being you in Jesus' name. Amen.